My name is Emma Sieracki, and I will be creating a developmental network based on Tiger King for my exam 4 video 2. Tiger King are Joe Exotic, the Tiger King; Carole Baskin, the animal rights activist determined to take him down; Alan Glover, the hitman hired to eliminate Carole Baskin; James Garretson, the FBI informant determined to foil their plot; and Jeff Lowe, the man who took over Joe Exotic's zoo. The Jeff Lowe gene is going to inhibit transcription of Joe Exotic and prevent him from running his zoo. The Alan Glover gene is going to stimulate transcription of James Garretson, the FBI informant, by beginning his assassination plot. The James Garretson gene will inhibit the actions of the Jeff Lowe gene. If Joe Exotic is transcribed, then Carole Baskin is eliminated. This leaves us with the following pathway. Alan Glover activates James Garretson. James Garretson inhibits Jeff Lowe. Jeff Lowe inhibits Joe Exotic, and Joe Exotic inhibits Carole Baskin. If Alan Glover, the hitman, was removed, James Garretson, the FBI informant, wouldn't be activated. Without the informant, Jeff Lowe is going to block Joe Exotic. Thus, Joe Exotic can't block Carole Baskin. If James Garretson, the FBI informant, was removed, he would be unable to inhibit Jeff Lowe. Jeff Lowe would then be able to block Joe Exotic, thus allowing Carole Baskin to remain undefeated. If both Alan Glover, the hitman, and James Garretson, the FBI informant, were removed, the results would still be the same, because Jeff Lowe would not be inhibited. This allows for him to block Joe Exotic and Carole Baskin to prevail. Now, if James Garretson, the FBI informant, and Jeff Lowe, Joe Exotic's zoo investor, were removed, the results would be different. This is because Joe Exotic is no longer being inhibited by anything. Thus, he can block Carole Baskin and she is defeated.